Well, you figured out so much already, Seymour. I don't know how the hell you did it. You almost got $750,000 for a recharger. I mean, I would have thought that every recharger in the world was already invented to mankind. And here's a guy who never has anything in his background about recharging and comes up with a product called Thing Charger and thingcharger.com. And it is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I mean, right now on my kitchen, I have wires coming out, all the plugs near the toaster.
Yep.
With charger. And this is the thing, you just slap on the existing socket, and you can put 3 on top of each other and charge everything at one, and nothing is in the way. How the hell did you come up with this thing?
You know what? It's the sort of classic inventor's story. I mean, I think most people, I'm sure this is your experience, and you know, you watching this kind of at home. Have you not been trying to sort something out in your home, and you go, you know, if only this was like this, you know, if only this broom had brushes at both ends, you know, or something crazy like that. And my wife was away for a few days. And I was just trying to solve the problem of how do you charge all these things, you know, because in many houses today we have a whole bunch of, you know, we have a phone and a tablet and a reader and this, that, and the other. And then people visit and maybe they need a different plug in. And all I was doing was shopping for like a good system. And I kept on having, you know, these packages would arrive from Amazon, and I'd open them up and I'd be sort of disappointed and annoyed, and and one day my wife and I were playing with one of these products that we'd purchased to try and solve the problem, and we were like, well, hang on a second, what, you know, if only it had 2 outlets on the front and you could just put your phone on top of it, wouldn't that be cool? But you couldn't. And she said, well, that's a good idea. Go into the basement and make a prototype, and don't come back out until you have. So we did. So I did, and we looked at it, and we thought that's good. And then we came up with a very, I think before we started recording, Matthew, you watched the little film that we showed.
Wonderful film. If anything, people should see that video, even if they don't buy this thing. I mean,
it's a great video for people who want to. I mean, for people who are interested in marketing, it's a good education, because there's a lot of things going on in the video to help people feel comfortable with the product and this, that, and the other. So so careful you don't wind up, you know,
sending you money,
sending us money after watching it. I wouldn't wish for that to happen right now.
No, don't do that. Don't do that
right now. But no, it's a good education, and it's about 60 seconds long now. The original version was, I think, 25 or 30 seconds long. It didn't have a voice on it or anything. It just showed 1 or 2 of the things, because the thing about Thing Charger is that it's kind of difficult to describe, but very easy to understand when you see it. So we made this little film and just showed it to friends and family. And this is a very important distinction I'm about to make for an entrepreneur, or for anybody who's thinking of pursuing a project or a business.
Right.
There's a big difference, and if you could put me on large on the screen for a second or whatever, or look at me closely. This is the difference, because if you have an idea, you'll generally show it to friends and family.
Right.
And there's a big, and I'll pretend that I'm talking to you, Matthew. Okay? There's a big difference between, right, so you've just presented your idea to me. There's a world of difference between, that's great, Matthew.
Oh, yeah. Right.
No, really, best of luck with that. You crazy old goat.
Yeah, right.
There's a big difference between that reaction and, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's my friend Chris Hawker of Trident Design, who's, if you're inventing something, amazing people to get in touch with. But Chris Hawker always talks about a hot yes.
A hot yes.
Salespeople know this.
Yes.
It's kind of like, there's a kind of, I'm saying nice things because I don't want to offend you. And then there's like that excitement. And we just showed this very basic prototype, this very basic film to friends and family. And people were going, my God, that's great. You've got to do this.
Exactly. No, and I felt watching the film, I got more. Jesus, I mean, I can't live without this thing. I mean, and I can't. I mean, it's genuine. It's not. You're not putting, taking control of my brain or anything. This is real facts.
Well,
I need a dozen of these things
right.
around the house.
We're not taking control of it. No, we're not. We're not. But we did. That little film is, as I say, it's about 60 seconds long. There's about 110 words in it.
Wow.
And I did spend a week writing the words really carefully so that people's brains could absorb what we were saying as easily as possible.
Yeah. No, you mentioned earlier about how, thing charger, if you hear it for the first time, just out of context, you're wondering what the heck, it's hard to put those words together. But you show in your, and this is what I think the marketing lesson is, that you have in your video, how you introduce the concept and then that thing comes up, the word thing comes up, and then the word charger comes up. And then at the end, wow, a thing charger, that's the perfect name for this thing.
Yeah, and then we wrap it all together, yes.
Yeah.
There's also something to do with, and again, this is, I mean, I actually wasn't thinking this when I did it, but now looking back on why it's been so successful.
You're brilliant.
Thank you.
You're brilliant, didn't know it.
The people, I've never done formal sales training, but I think part of sales training is that you should be asking people questions the whole time.
I see.
Shouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right, and if you want to make a statement, then you just add a question on the end. You should be asking people. You should be asking people questions all the time, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
And the notion of a question helps people to kind of engage more. So we actually, it opens with, what if? And already the brain is going.
What if what?
Yeah. So there are, the language is being used, I believe, legitimately to encourage people to see how this might fit into their lives, rather than just slam. Here's the latest feature.
Sham now, right? Although you're right, but that's why people should see this. To get a marketing lesson and to come out with 5 of these things, so you have it around, and they're only $30 up for free. The chargers I've seen, I mean, $30 is a low end charger, in the world now.
You know what? Charging is a category. I mean, you can buy a charger at the checkout at Walgreens or something, and they have them for very little money. Yeah. And if you actually do an analysis of the market, $30 is, and we offer it with various tips for a little under 40. We're actually fairly, we're not at the cheap end. But this is another lesson, I think. If you are Walmart, you have the scale to make money out of cheap things.
Yes.
For most of us, for most of us, most of the folks watching this, if you have the scale of Walmart,
it
God bless you. And I probably Matthew and I don't worry. We probably don't have too much to offer you. Right. But for most of us, smaller businesses, a sale is a hard thing to close.
Yeah.
Whether it's online or in person.
Right.
If you're gonna sell someone a lawnmower, it's going to take a certain amount of energy. So you might as well sell them a car, because you get to make
same amount of time. Right.
There's only so much of you to go around, and I think that it's there's this sort of rush to be the cheapest, but it's a never win game to be the cheapest the whole time, because someone's going to come in and be cheaper.
Exactly. Right.
And then you go from making $1 on it to making 50 cents on it, and then you go from making 50 cents to making 25 cents, and it's an always lose game. So if you find a way of whatever it is that you're offering, product or service, anything, if you can have a great product, make it and deliver it really well, and present it really well, you get to ethically, legitimately, appropriately.
Yeah, but if you're solving a problem and doing something that's so important, what the hell's another $10? I mean, that's got to.
That's right. Yeah. And if that $10 then allows us to.
Absolutely. If you're not in business, you can't solve my problem.
Exactly. and do it with higher quality and better safety, so you
and
develop new products and make it more delightful. I just think that it's it's so, everyone's trying to chase the price down, and I think people respond to quality in an amazing way. We have we're in the process of switching over to a better quality website. So the same product.
Right. Well, you only have a minute video. Is more important than to listen to more minute of us. Let's get people there. And that's thingcharger.com, because you get a marketing lesson and you're going to come away with 3, 4, 5 of these things, because they're the neatest thing to have to charge anything of. Phone, any kind of notebook, anything you have that got to recharge anywhere in the house. Thank you so much, Seymour. thingcharger.com.
Pleasure. Thank you, Matthew.
All right.